Good morning and welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. My name is Garen and today we're going to be talking about prayer. And the title of today's video is To Whom Do We Pray? Good morning again. My name is Garen and as I said, we're going to be talking about prayer today. And this is a really interesting subject, and it's, as I said in the little run-up lead article that I posted, this came about actually as my wife and I were laying in bed talking about, her continued issues with her family and her inability to let go, to surrender it. Still trying to hold on, to grip onto something. And I brought up the fact that those who evolve past religion, those whose level of conscious awakening no longer allows them to buy into organized religion, especially Christianity, often develop a block to prayer. And the reason that happens is all of a sudden, we don't really know who or what do we pray to now. I mean, this happens for a number of reasons, and what happens is if you've been in a religion or grown up in a religion in a belief system, that belief system leaves shadowy imprints on your subconscious mind. Deep in your unconsciousness, there'll be a number of, I would almost call them, they need to be excised. They're kind of like growths that need to be cut out. And one of those is the block to praying anymore. And Kelly said to me, she said, well, it's funny you brought that up because I was actually struggling with that. It's like, okay, well, who would I pray to now? And often we have a subconscious fear that since we have abandoned our God through leaving religion, leaving that belief system, which is not faith. Let's be clear of the difference between belief and faith. And we'll talk about that for a brief moment. There's also a video, of course, on a crisis of belief, which is all about faith versus belief. It's worth a watch. Oftentimes we fear that our God will not answer us anymore now that we've abandoned them. He or she will no longer hear us. And as I said to Kelly, actually, it's much easier to talk to the Creator now. It's so much easier. There's no fear involved. And this is why we're really here today, is I want to help free people who have matured past organized religion, who have grown out of organized religion, and now take on the path of conscious awakening and spiritual growth. A reminder that it's perfectly all right and highly beneficial still to pray. So let's answer this question. Who do we or what are we praying to? The beauty of the truth is that you are actually praying to your higher self. And we're going to talk about what prayer is, okay? The word prayer, as found in the majority of places in the Bible, is based on the Greek word proseuche. And proseuche is actually composed of two words, pros and ouche. Pros being with or towards, sometimes thought of as being close, and ouche, which is a vow. It was originally used to depict a person who made some kind of vow to God because of some need or desire in his or her life. This individual would vow to give something of great value to God in exchange for a favorable answer to prayer. And if we look back in Isaiah, Hannah, prime example. She was barren, couldn't have children. She made a deal with God. And this is the unfortunate use of prayer that happens most times and also accounts for the reasons why this sort of prayer is rarely ever fulfilled. In the Bible, Hannah made a deal with God. You give me a baby, and I will put that baby into your service in the ministry. I'll put that baby into the temple. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did. What I find to be, quite frankly, hilarious is the concept that we could give something valuable to God. It is all God. It is all the sea of consciousness. What could we, as part of that sea of consciousness, give to that sea of consciousness that does not already belong wholly to that sea of consciousness? This concept of prayer, we're essentially making a deal. God has turned into a loan shark. We go to God and we say, if you give me this $50,000 loan, or you give me this new car, or you give me this new job, or you heal this person for me, or whatever, that I will do this with interest. We break those deals a lot of times. I remember when I was young, as a young Catholic boy, I broke that deal with God 1,000 times over. Luckily, our Creator doesn't bust kneecaps for non-payment. So clearly, the biblical idea of prayer, proseuche in the Greek, we want to just chuck that right out. Honestly, we want to throw that right out the door. We are not making deals with the divine. The divine doesn't make deals. You are part and parcel of that divine. Who do you talk to? You talk to your higher self. Whoever you envision that higher self to represent for you. As I said to Kelly last night as we were lying there, I said, oftentimes I will talk directly to Christ. Why? Because he and I have a great relationship. I understand he's not the Son of God any less or more than I am the Son of God, or you are the daughter of God. And we have wonderful conversations together. And I said to her, the beauty of it is now when you speak to your Creator, or that which you envision as your Creator, there's no fear. There's no judgment. There's nothing you have to worry about. There's just love and acceptance and guidance. So choose any image you want. As I said to Kelly last night, sometimes I still like Zeus. I still like the white guy with the long white beard and the white flowing robe and a little golden sash around the waist and a pair of leather sandals. And he and I will walk on the beach, and he will listen as I pray. And then he'll talk back. The definition of prayer that we really need to focus on, let's try to narrow this down a little bit. We're going to come in a little bit tighter, okay? Prayer is at its root simply paying attention to the divine. Recognizing at all times that the divine is there. I said to Kelly last night, I pray all the time. I'm not there in some sort of traditional kneeling at the side of my bed, clasping my hands, my eyes are closed. I'm having real-time, one-on-one communication and conversation with my Creator, with the divine, with the higher self, in whatever form that fits for me at the time. Sometimes I choose Krishna. Sometimes I have conversations with Gandhi. Sometimes I have conversations with other deities. I recognize that no matter what I choose to envision, as long as I am absorbed in what I'm envisioning, as long as I am accepting what I am producing as a vision of my Creator, that I can easily accept any vision of my Creator. and garner the wisdom and the guidance that I'm looking for. I'm going to paraphrase Saint Teresa, this was a little piece that she had said. Prayer is an aspiration of the heart. It is a simple glance directed above. It is a cry of gratitude and love in the midst of trial as well as joy. It expands my mind and unites me with the divine. This is coming so much closer to prayer now. Prosuke is the old Christian, Jewish, biblical way of praying. Muslims as well. Today, we have a new way to pray. And that way to pray is honest and open recognition, attention, and communication with our higher selves. And we don't have to live in the silence of not getting an answer. You can receive those answers firsthand, directly, one-on-one, face-to-face, word to word, conversation to conversation. How do we pray? What do we pray? To be honest, the only prayer I ever pray is gratitude. Gratitude and to be guided. Gratitude and to be guided, and for others to be guided. And in reality, we are guided every day. It's just that the little 500 pixel board here doesn't leave quite enough room. But it's not to be so much guided as to become aware of the guidance. To become even more consciously aware, more on alert for the guidance, for the stream of love and direction that is flowing towards you and through you and around you in every minute of your life. Day, night, awake, asleep, up, down, in, out, good, bad, low, high, rich, poor. That divine stream of communication is always there for you. Never stops. You pick it up on different levels, but becoming consciously aware of it, it becomes this magnificent gift where you literally thrill in waiting for the next appearance, the next manifestation to guide your path forward, to guide your evolution and conscious growth forward. Gratitude. And I want to quickly cover off the belief versus faith, okay? Beliefs are all the things that we think about, that feeling deep in the pit of our stomach, that trust that there is a divine source. Faith is simply trust. There is nothing to attach to faith. Never allow anyone to try to attach anything outside of you being willing to have trust that there exists a creator. That's what faith is. It's the beliefs that everyone gets hung up on. It's the beliefs that form a religion that says we have the right way and you have the wrong way. Because honestly, if they looked deeply at their faith and the trust that there is one divine creator, they would understand that everyone was the creator's children. It is the beliefs that limit that. So I ask only that you have faith. Just trust. That's all you need to have. Start with prayers of gratitude. Start with imagining the most loving version of your higher self, the most loving version of a creative entity that you could possibly come up with in your own egoic mind. And there's a reason why the images appear to us that do. It is because in our conditioning, in our ego-defined being, those images will have an effect on us. Those images have meaning to us. So choose your deity, understanding that no matter who you choose to manifest, we're all manifesting the same deity, the same one sea of consciousness. I always begin each prayer and each day and each night with gratitude. Sometimes it's just a feeling, a little smile that I have on my face. Sometimes it's a direct reference. I'm thankful for the sun. I'm thankful that I woke up and could see this morning. I'm thankful that I woke up this morning. I'm thankful that I have one more day, one more minute, one more hour of life here. Gratitude. Start with the simple things. You'll find you could spend hours just being grateful for all the little things in your life. Then in my case, you see, the one thing you never want to do is pray from a place of assuming that you don't have. Because that is a fundamental misunderstanding of the universe and the sea of consciousness, our Creator, and the love in which we all exist. Before you have even asked, it has already been given unto you. What does that really mean? It means in our immaturity, in our unknowing of what we really want, and what we want are not the objects. What we want is the feeling it produces. The universe will never give you that which will harm you. It will give you that which you need. That which you need to grow, that which you need to evolve. So again, the only prayer I pray is first one of gratitude, and then one of a constant reminding awareness of the guidance that is around me of all the time. A clear wish to be guided, to surrender, to say, you know, I'm surrendering to my existence again. I'm giving my existence up because I know it really never was my existence. I don't own it. The sea of consciousness, the divine God owns all of this. There is nothing I could offer God that God does not already possess in its entirety in this universe. I pray to be guided. Sometimes I'll bring direct questions. Christ, we got to talk about this. You know, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, I cannot convince these people in my life who I care about that their judgment of me is wrong. Now, of course, I'm not really speaking of myself when I am saying this. I'm giving this an example, maybe along the lines of what Kelly would have been praying or would pray. Knowing the truth and being able to live the truth aren't always the same thing. You know, we become consciously aware at a thought level that there's a higher reality, that there's more, that God is not an old man on a throne. But living that truth, seeing it active in our lives every day, is not always the same thing as intellectually grasping it. That's why a return to prayer, a return to giving attention to the divine, a return to giving attention to your higher self in gratitude and with an honest and open desire to be guided in surrender. And an honest and open desire for others whom you care about and who you would pray for to also be guided. The one thing I won't do is pray to my higher self or to the divine for the divine to make someone understand something. Do you understand why that's an issue? What have I done when I pray for the divine to make someone understand me? I've taken their free will away. I'm actually asking the divine to take their free will from them and force them to understand me. And Kelly and I talked about this yesterday, and we talked about one of the most dangerous things of ego in the mind. And it's called opinion. You see, opinion is just that. It's just opinion. It kind of falls into the same category as scientific theory. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's theory. We'll accept it until something shows different. Opinions are the same way. But the problem with ego is the ego loves to take opinions and make opinions the truth. And make opinions reality. And every time we have an opinion in our head about what someone else is thinking, we've really lost it. You know, I said to Kelly yesterday, I said, do you realize the sheer insanity of sitting here and trying to say that your opinion of what may or may not be going through someone else's mind about their opinion about you? Poof. I'm lost. Better to stop worrying about opinions. Better to have no opinion that you're willing to hold on to so tightly that you would put it in the category of truth. Because it's only an opinion. Just like all of this today is an opinion. My opinion. Take from it what you will. Do with it what you will. I have no expectation. Excuse me. In our new awakening, we lose out, and it happens. Most, ex-Christians and ex-religious folks don't even realize that they've actually stopped praying, that they've stopped ever talking to the divine. And yes, I see the divine everywhere. And I realize when I'm talking to another person, when I'm speaking to my cat, when the bird is chirping to me, it is the divine communicating with the divine. But that does not preclude conscious awareness of divinity within you, a conscious desire to reach out and communicate directly with that higher source of being within you. And this is what we can do. In every minute of every day, we can live a life of prayer. Not a life of essentially, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but when I look at the word prosuke, it immediately reminds me of beseeching, of somehow begging for something. Please, please, please give me this, and then I will give you my adoration or my love or my firstborn child, or I'll tithe 10% every week. God doesn't need the cash. And he doesn't need your love. And he's not even a he or a she, really. But for sake of argument, God needs nothing from us. God wishes us everything. Everything we need to grow and evolve has been placed before us. The table has been prepared. It is my hope, it is my wish that if you are evolving out of religion, evolving out of Christianity or Judaism or the Islamic faith or any other belief system, that you remember and return to prayer. You return to paying attention to the divine within you. You return to being willing to speak openly to your higher being and listen for the answer. And you won't always get the answer in the form of a verbal communication. Oftentimes I do. Sometimes someone else will give me the answer the next day out of the blue. Or it'll show up in a post, or I'll read it. Or something will trigger the answer in nature, and I'll know, I'll just feel it. It's like, okay, that was the answer I was looking for. We are not, once we start to, the religions, of course, and this is what's happening with my wife, they've kicked her out of the fold. Despite the fact that she chose to leave the fold, what they've done is kicked her out. She's an outcast now. This is not the God of love that I know. This is not the behavior of anyone who proclaims to worship the God of love that I know. The sea of consciousness cannot take a part of itself and remove that part of itself from itself, because it is the all. We are always bathed in the love of the divine. And when we open our minds in prayer, when we open our minds in gratitude and with an honest desire to surrender and allow our lives to be guided, everything begins to flow again. As I said, there's no need to hold on to anything. Why? Because we are already held in the divine arms of the Creator. There's no risk. You can't fall. You don't have to hold on. You're meant to play. Play in the palm of God. Much love and namaste to you all. I hope this short video has been helpful. I hope it returns you to some honest prayer, some gratitude, an open desire to accept what comes, to surrender to what is. Again, much love and namaste. Have a wonderful day.